Hey guys, welcome back. So, we just had a cold front roll through earlier this week, and last night, Friday night, I had a date night with the wife, and it involved having to go downtown. It's about a 20-minute drive, not too bad. But it's the first time that I actually stayed in the car for longer than 5-10 minutes, at least in this cold weather. I have a short drive to work, so thankfully. I hadn't really actually had to use my heater, so I found out last night that I don't have any heat coming out of my vents. I set it to 84 and I got nothing but cold air coming out of it, and the engine was at operating temperature. So I'm gonna show you guys my process of diagnosing and hopefully fixing this. And I hope I can do it today because I don't like this cold stuff. Okay guys, so we're gonna start with the obvious and easy stuff first, right? So first things first is, do we have coolant? So the last time I checked my coolant level was about 2 months ago when I did the engine bay detailing, and it was topped off perfectly then. So let's take a look now, see where it's at. Here, let me bring you in because I found something. If you look in there, there's the max mark, there's the min mark, and the fluid is well below that. So I did have the dyno, so I was flooring it and I was doing some pulls on the street. So BMWs, it's not uncommon for them to consume coolant and a little bit of oil. It's normal operating, and honestly, like, that's not bad. But what I don't know is that if that much of a drop is enough to affect operation of the heater. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and top this off. I'm gonna do the coolant bleeding procedure, and then we're gonna go ahead and just crank on the engine, let it idle, and see if we get heat. All right, here we go. BMW coolant. No reason to use anything else. There you go. Okay, now we're gonna do the bleeding procedure and give it a shot. All right, so just so that everybody knows, the bleeding procedure on all BMWs with an electronic water pump is, you, first of all, take the cap off. You know, I'm just gonna rest it on there. You just don't want it to build up pressure, so it's just sitting on it, okay? But ignition on, engine off, and then you put the heat at the maximum temperature, which is 84 degrees Fahrenheit for here in the US. And you put the fan at the lowest speed setting. Then all you have to do is close the door, press the accelerator pedal for 10 seconds, and then it'll go ahead and kick the pump on, and it'll begin the bleeding procedure. Just let it do its thing. It takes about 10 minutes, so it is recommended that you use a battery tender at this point because it's obviously running on battery juice. And also know that if for whatever reason you need to get out of the car while you're there, the moment you open the door, it does shut off it does end the procedure at that point. So just make sure you have whatever you need. All right, so ignition is on. The heat is all the way up and the fan speed is at its lowest setting. Let's go ahead and press the gas and just hold it down all the way to the bottom. At some point we should hear the pump kick in. There it goes. You hear that? That's it. And now we just sit inside and wait. Obviously I own this BMW, but the wife has a Volkswagen. And before this BMW, I had an Audi. So back then I used to use Carista. And Carista now is compatible with BMW, a lot of BMWs, including the F10. So I busted out the old Carista dongle, and I still have it's a yearly subscription, and I still pay it because, again, I still have the Jetta. So I went ahead and checked the codes, and lo and behold, as far as the IHK, which is the HVAC control module here on the dash, there were 0 codes. Because I know, like, if the flaps that are in the HVAC box, like, you know, the ones that actually control the passage of air to what outlet you want them, like, they generate a code when one of them fails. But I got nothing on there, so it's like, okay, well, if it's not an electronically induced issue, what is it? Hey guys, it's a week later, and finally got a little bit of time to knock this out, so see the beard is a little longer. All right, so I decided to go ahead and replace my heater control valve. All right, so this here is a Boscavolo brand, and I got it on Amazon for like 47 bucks shipped. Comes with a little rebuild kit if you wanted to go ahead and rebuild the solenoids on the original, or this one in the future, I guess. But here we go. Check this out. Here it is. And you know what the crazy part is? You see that part number there? That's the BMW part number for the heater control valve on my car. So yeah, it looked, by all means, by all appearances, it seems that this is the manufacturer of the original one from BMW. It obviously just doesn't have a BMW stamping anywhere on it, but what are the chances that it's gonna have the exact part number from BMW on it? So I'm very excited. With that said, let's go to the car and try to get it out. There is the heater control valve right there. So you see the two solenoids there? That's basically what we're looking at right now. So I got one hose here, which is the one that attacks here. I'm gonna start removing them and clamping them off, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna try to make a minimal mess. I have a small pan under the car to collect stuff, but yeah, it's still gonna be a messy job. All right, so guys, first thing I did was I removed the connector here, and I just stuffed it down in this area, just get it out of the way. And now the valve itself, the body gets held in place by two pegs. They're down here, and you just gotta pull them straight up. They're sitting on rubber grommets. So now you got a little more play. Now I can see all the connections. So you have one clamp here that we have to undo. We have one down here at the bottom, and then this one here at the top. So 3 hoses. Now, I wish I had the plier hose clamp things to keep them from overflowing. I don't have any, unfortunately, because I've never had to do this before. But what I do have is these here. These is actually from when we bought the house and I was doing all the renovations. I would build some cabinets, and I use these little clamps to hold them shut. So I'm going to use these to clamp the hoses. I don't know how effective it'll be, but I'll try that. So, let's see. I got the upper hose already clamped off. Come on, here we go. I got the other one below also clamped. If I could find that clamp. Where did my clamp go? Oh, there it is. It's way back here, but you see, this is where I clamped it. So that's that. And then I had to take off the charge pipe because with the charge pipe on the way, it's so big that I didn't have space to, like, I could touch it, but I had no space to actually clamp the ears on this clamp here. So I had to get it out of the way. All right, guys, I figured I'll skip the boring part, but finally got it out, and minimal loss of coolant, which is great. But here you go. There's the old one. There's the part number there, which is, this is the old part number of the one that we have now. That's awesome because it's clearly been superseded. So let's go and see them side by side. All right, so here's the old one. And you can see, I mean, from the outside, you see no signs of it because any sort of failure, it's typically going to be inside these solenoids. Once they get power, they basically raise or lower the plunger, and that plunger is sealed with this stuff. If I want to actually open it up and see, I may just do it later in the future just out of curiosity, but right now, that's not important. I got family already at home, and I need to get this out of the way. So here's our new one. You see it's basically the same old. It just doesn't have the BMW stamping that this one has. And again, this is the current part number, the 64219 310 349. But you see it's missing the BMW part number. But I'm pretty sure this is the same manufacturer of this one. I'm not going to bore you guys showing you how I put it back on because it's the exact opposite of what I just did. So let's go ahead and I'm going to slap this on and I'll get back to you guys once I have the engine warming up. Alright guys, the new control valve is in place. All the clamps are there. I just need to snap it down, connect the harness, and remove these clamps. Don't need them anymore. Where are you? Come on. There we go. So there. So now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and finish up there. I'll put the charge pipe back on. I'll do the coolant bleeding procedure and obviously top off. Alrighty, we're back in the car. Temperature is at the max. Fan is at the lowest. We hold it down 10 seconds. Should kick on. There it goes. And immediately after it kicked on, I heard movement of fluid in here. So it's definitely something got moved just now. So let's see. I'll get back to you guys. Hey guys, I know there's no way for me to actually show you what's going on here, but I can tell you that fixed it. So I have hot air coming out of my vents and there's hot air coming out of the passenger vents. So that's all we needed, just a new heater control valve. And what you call it, and just to recap for you guys, so what I was experiencing was very little heat on the driver's side and absolutely no heat on the passenger side. With that said, the first things first, I checked the coolant. Did I have enough coolant? Yes, I did. I mean, I topped it off a little bit, no big deal. Not enough to actually affect operation of the heater. And I bled the system to make sure there's no air pockets, and the issue was still there. And I know a lot of people are not going to have access to check for codes on the IHKA, the HVAC control panel. This bad boy right here. Whoop. But I checked it and I didn't have any codes at all. So with that said, the next logical thing would have been the heater control valve being faulty. So went ahead and replaced it. Lo and behold, that did it. Of course, anytime you open the cooling system, you have to go ahead and do a bleeding top off and bleed process. And yeah, so thankfully it worked. Thankfully I did not have a blockage on the heater, because then I would have had to have removed 2 of the lines at the heater control valve and flushed it out with a garden hose. That would be the easiest way, what you call it. But thankfully I didn't have to do that. So yeah guys, I'm really happy with this. I'm so happy that it's done. I finally have some heat for the winter. This is Thanksgiving Day, so if anybody's here in the US, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And you know, if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give me a like, give me a subscription, and hit the notification bell. All right guys, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.